Jesus drew near and went with them. Dear friends, we are given today for our reflection the episode of the journey of the disciples of Emmaus. John chapter 24, verses 13 to 35. Scholars call it a masterpiece within a masterpiece. The Gospel of Luke is indeed a masterpiece, but this episode is one of the best jewels of the book because this episode contains the basic values of our Christian life. Two disciples of Jesus are returning from Jerusalem to Emmaus. They are depressed and sad because their master and leader, Jesus, had been crucified. As they journey in this state of confusion, Jesus drew near to them. This is a high point of the reading and a high point of our faith. God is in search of man with tender love. Jesus comes in search of the disciples who are walking in the wrong direction. Their depression, fear, and lack of faith have moved them in the opposite direction, almost like the lost sheep of the parable. But then we have a God who searches for us, especially when we are treading the wrong direction. Jesus does not scold them or shout at them, but he just joins them informally, no ceremonies. This is how God deals with us in the various situations of our life. There is no formality. Jesus listens, he understands, and enters into the situation of their life. He tries to lift them up from within than from without with a whip. The whole of the history of salvation can be reduced to this simple line. He drew near to them and went with them. We have a God who accompanies us. The Lord accepts us with an unconditional love, with a kiss and embrace, as we see in the parable of the prodigal son. We have a famous story of the man who dreamt about his life as walking with Jesus on the seashore. As he dreamt, he saw two pairs of footprints. One pair was his and the other belonged to Jesus, he concluded. As he journeyed on and his life began to face turbulences and challenges, he discovered that there was only one pair of footprints. So he thought that Jesus left him alone when he had challenges to face in life. So he complained to Jesus, and Jesus replied, "Look closely at those footprints. They are mine. You are so overburdened. You could not walk, so I had to carry you in my arms." A beautiful story depicting how God accompanies us as he accompanied the disciples of Emmaus, and at times even carries us through, though we are ignorant of it. As Jesus walks along with them, he asks them, what are the things that they are mourning about? And they replied, concerning Jesus of Nazareth, who was mighty in deed and word, and how our chief priests and rulers condemned him to death and crucified him. Now it is third day since these things happened. Moreover, some women of our company told us that they visited the tomb of Jesus and they saw a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Really, they were saying a brief summary of the structure of plan of salvation, but they do not understand the deeper significance of it. Jesus smiled and calls them foolish ones. The real wisdom is to understand all the events of our life under the light of the resurrection. We too know the formulae of our creed, the plan of salvation, but very often they are dead formulae because it is not enlivened by the power of the risen Lord. In a way, we are very often foolish, giving into despair and fear and anxiety, but not gazing at the Lord who is close to us. Jesus, after explaining to them the word of God, joins them for the supper. There he breaks bread with them and shares. A Eucharistic gesture, an event. The result is, and their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Their depressed hearts begin to burn with enthusiasm and love for Jesus. They take up his mission and return to Jerusalem to witness. The Eucharist and the Word of God are the sure and powerful agents to lift us up from our fears, depressions, and weaknesses. Pope Francis said, Eucharist is not a reward, but a remedy. We don't participate in the Eucharist because we are holy, but because we are weak, a remedy for our weakness. And Eucharist is also the way by which the Lord draws near to us intimately and walks with us. May God bless us all.